everybody, and welcome back to Georgia Living. I'm Chris Evans.
I'm Céline Evans.
And we've got a great episode for you today. So stay tuned. We're going to be covering everything from information about the Japanese Field Day all the way to exploring the history and origins of Kennesaw, Georgia. So we've got a great episode for you. Stick around. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe. All right, honey, we've got a lot to cover today, but we've been busy around the house doing kind of a lot of family activities. We just had one come up this past weekend at the Japanese school in Mableton. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
So it's called Undokai, which is sports meeting or sports event. And this is a very long-standing event in Japan, because there is something called Sports Day, which was yesterday on the 13th every year. And so the Japanese school tries to time this meeting, the sports meeting, to that day. If it rains, then you do it the next weekend. There's always a backup plan.
Yeah.
So we get all the students out, split them up into red and white teams, because there's the flag, the red and white flag. They don't have three colors, they have two. And they compete against each other. They do traditional things like you take what looks like a goblet on a stick or a pole, like a flag pole.
Yeah.
And then you have little bean bags that are either colored red or white, and you throw them up into the basket or the goblet. And it's this snow frenzy of balls flying everywhere. That is a traditional, everyone looks forward to it thing, because you're tossing it in and then you count how many of the bean bags you got into that little goblet.
Yep, and sometimes they'll do like kids versus parents, so it makes it a big fun event for everybody.
Yeah, the little kids get to do sunflower dances as part of their exercise, and the older kids will do relay matches, tug-of-war, some of the other traditional things that we also do at our sports days. However, it seems like a little bit bigger deal in Japan, I think, because the families also remember going through the same type of event. So they'll get all of their stuff out for the lunches, and it's a nice picnic time, family time for everybody. And we have sandwiches when we go picnicking.
Yeah.
Japan, it's rice balls. So
yes,
it
is.
Just so funny to look around and see all these rice balls popping out of bags at lunchtime.
I was making a bunch of them at 5 a.m. on Saturday.
Thank you. It was
brought
delicious.
About 30 of them out. The kids enjoyed them. And very, very similar to our field day when we would do that in middle school. They had relays. The second graders have the parents doing a relay with them. So we're like, I'm out there with Claire. We're holding hands, jumping over ropes and running inside of hula hoops and things like that. It was a lot of fun. She loved it. But this is, for Japan, this is part of a national holiday, which is a little bit different than what we have, right?
Like I said, I don't think it's as serious, because whenever we do it, it's school-wide.
Yeah.
And we don't involve the parents in
No.
it. So, the School Olympics, and then you go home and that's that. But this really does bring the community together, and it seems like all the parents, I'm talking about dads, moms, aunts, uncles, everybody comes out.
It was a big deal.
Yes, and then it starts off with something very traditional, which is called the Radio Taiso. And a long time ago, you used to have radios before TV, and they would broadcast this set way of stretching.
It's like
everything.
It's like an exercise program that's broadcast every morning.
Every morning.
Right?
It's over the radio, and I do believe that we were probably listening to a radio recording, because it sounded staticky.
Oh, yeah, it did. So I think they probably played like the standard one that's played on the radio every morning in Japan.
It seems like that has not changed in 100 years.
No. You know what it reminds me of?
What?
It reminds me of, when TV started here, every morning you would have like the pledge, like the Star Spangled Banner playing and the American flag on TV. They don't do that anymore because TV is now 24/7. It never shuts off. But it kind of reminds me of that. It was like a morning tradition that everybody knew. But
I've got to make a confession here.
What's that?
I was born here, raised here. I've lived here all my life. I do not remember a flag.
Really?
No, maybe I just went to sleep before you did.
This was waking up in the morning. So if you woke up early in the morning and you put on the TV at like 5 a.m.
I don't think I did watch TV in the morning.
At like 4:59 in the morning, there would be nothing on. And then at 5 a.m., it would switch, and then they would broadcast like an image of a flag waving and then play the Star Spangled Banner.
I don't remember this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was like, this is like a 2-year-old memory. This is like 89, 90. Yeah. This is like 89, 90, like right around there. They were still doing that. Not on cable if you were rich enough to have cable back then, but on the broadcast channels.
I don't remember this.
Yeah, I do. So fun stuff. Very much had a cultural immersion day on Saturday for me as we were at the Japanese school. Lots of fun doing the relays with the kids. But then we did a lot around the house as well. So this time of year, this year has been really bad at our house. We've experienced some real bad pest issues.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's weather related or what.
We're not the only ones, though.
No.
Been having a record year.
Yeah, I mean, the Joro spiders around the outside of the house were insane. This morning, we looked up at the power lines driving to work, and I've never realized this, but if you look at the power lines, you will see thousands of Joro spiders.
It's a co-op. Okay.
We looked at one section, like if you drive down Castile in East Cobb by Oak, and you look at the power lines that are going across Castile onto Oak, there's probably 30 or 40 giant Joro nests just in the section that spans across the street. It's huge. So we had that problem at the house. They were a lot. So we had Cook's Pest Control come out to the house. They took care of all of it. We also had some roach issues this year, much worse than in years past. Normally, we can just kind of do our own pest control around the house, and everything's in check. We never see anything. But
there is a huge difference in
this year was pretty bad.
Roaches, though. Well, I mean, yes, in the years, but so. Roaches, the big palmetto bugs from the outside, you're not going to get rid of them. They live outside. That's their home. We live in their home. The little ones, the German roaches, call somebody if you see those because that's gross.
It's so gross.
So hard to get rid of. And they're not from the outside. They're living in your house.
Yeah.
Ick.
So, I've got 5 tips here to keep the bugs away. All right. And if you've already done these and these aren't working, then absolutely call a pro. It's exactly what we did because we went through all of this. But you want to seal your entry points. Inspect around your windows, doors, pipes, vents for cracks or gaps. Seal them with caulking or with weather stripping. They also make the spray foam insulation if you get some larger gaps. You want to keep your kitchen clean. Number 2. Keep it clean. So get your dishes done daily. I mean, we're doing 2 loads of dishes in the dishwasher every day, and that's insane. But that's kind of the baseline minimum for our family. Make sure you're wiping down your counters and stovetops after your meals. Sweep, vacuum, mop regularly. Keep food particles out of the house. Then you want to, number 3 is you want to properly store your food and water. So if you're storing food, including pet food, make sure it's in airtight containers. That's going to allow it to not get pests in there. Pests can get into your food. They can lay eggs. Your animals are going to eat it. Even grosser. Have a little alien cockroach popping out of a dog's belly. Not the sight you want to see.
That doesn't happen.
No, but just... Okay. Other things that you want to do, make sure that you're fixing any leaks. So if you have water, that can create a breeding ground for pests. And then if you keep fruit out on the countertops, you want to remove it before it starts to rot because that'll bring in lots of ants, again, roaches, and your nasty little fruit flies. Number 4 is you want to maintain your yard and exterior. So the biggest thing here is bushes and debris. So if you have trees and bushes close to your house, you want to cut those back so that it's not touching your house. Bushes should be at least 6 to 8 inches off of the side of the house. Trees should not hang over your roof. So if you're experiencing that, I would highly encourage you to address that sooner than later, because that's going to allow bugs and rodents and squirrels and, you know, every little critter that you don't want in your attic to have access to your attic or your house. Remove debris piles. So those are leaves, wood piles from being close to your foundation. If you've got a firewood pile out by the side of the house, you want to move that away from the house so that you're not getting a lot of bugs living right up against your siding. Then you ensure your gutters are clean, so that you don't have excess moisture and build up, and make sure that your lawn is mowed, because high grass is going to give more habitat to bugs. So that's number 4. Number 5, the last point here is you want to manage your trash. So if you've got trash bins, make sure they're fitted with tight-fitting lids. Take your trash out of the house regularly. If you're like us and you have a 12-year-old, you have to go into their room and make them pick up all the wrappers and empty food containers, no matter how much it makes you mad. And no matter how many times you tell those little kids, they don't do it. So you have to. Otherwise, you're going to be calling Cook's Pest Control, just like us. So when you do all of the 5 things here, these are the big things. If this isn't taking care of your pest control, then bring out the pros. We've got some great local ones, Cook's, Northwest.
You're not bitter about the trash.
I don't hold any resentment towards any of the idiotic, stupid things that my kids do as they grow up, because I'm a parent and I love them.
Rotting apples are not fun to find.
No, they're not.
I did find one the other day.
We found a rotted clementine orange, like the little me-guns, in like a cutie, in a child's bed. In the bed!
So gross.
I had to throw the sheets away because the mold from the orange, like, in the bed.
Moving on. We need frames.
Yes. So also this weekend made some new frames for some of your art.
Yes.
Which is great. We hung the panorama image that I took of Hatcher Pass in Alaska. So I took an image, you painted the image. I built the frames, you painted the frames.
Scarlett called it a collaboration.
Yay, we're learning new words. And so I love that. It kind of really brings a story to the art that we have in the house, because, you know, I take the image, you paint it, it just becomes a big story, and we're all kind of involved in the process. But I love the painting of Hatcher Pass because it reminds me of like one of those scenes from The Sound of Music when they're in the Swiss Alps.
Does it really?
It really does. I mean, you don't have to go to Switzerland. You can go to Alaska. We have that as part of the United States.
Well, you know, the mountains in Scotland used to be part of Appalachian.
Yeah.
So
it all kind of moved around.
Yeah.
But, you know, speaking of Sound of Music, you've been doing some genealogy research, and you found that you have a tie to that movie, one of the actors.
I do. I wish it was, you know, Julie Andrews, but I'll still take it because I love the movie. I am actually related to Dan Truhitte, who played Hans Gruber.
Rolf Gruber. Hans Gruber is Die Hard.
Oh, that's where I've heard it before.
Yeah, Die Hard.
Okay, Rolf.
No! Falling from a building. Favorite Christmas movie.
Yes. Okay, so different Gruber.
Yeah, Rolf Gruber was the character, and Dan Truhitte is the actor, and he currently lives in Concord, North Carolina.
Oh, North Carolina.
Yes.
So I should go see him because he is my cousin. Who knew? We're not first cousins, but
No.
I am related to him through the Truhitts. And all this just comes from genealogy research that has been opened up because of AI.
Yeah, it's doing some fascinating stuff.
Yeah, I'll keep this really brief though, but it's able to scan full text And all those little pieces that you might have missed because you don't have time to read a million books and look for one name, they find it for you. So you look at that excerpt and it comes right up. I have found so many interesting stories, so many interesting ties, like, you know.
Can you
Rolf.
imagine, like, give it a few more years of AI going through and having access to all these historical documents? Once it gets all of that, we're going to eliminate the need for textbooks, because there won't need to be a person who says this is what happened. AI can just look at all the documents and teach history based off of the actual documents. It's insane to think about.
That's a little scary. Yeah.
Right?
But I should say that Rolf he played the counterpart to, I think her name was Liesel, the eldest of all of the children who fell in love with her sweetheart, sings I Am 16 Going on 17.
Yes. He was the boyfriend.
Yes, he was the boyfriend of Liesel. And he ended up going and being recruited into the Nazi party after that. But obviously the person is not, he's an actor.
No, he lives in North Carolina.
Yeah, he's not, he's an American, as is Julie Andrews and everyone else. So that was interesting.
Yeah.
And yes, your big brother is watching, dystopian society. That is terrifying.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, the AI, it allowed you to uncover that you had a family member that you found out headed west.
Yeah.
Because they were running from a warrant. So, I mean, Céline's family is fascinating, because one side was early settlers in the U.S. and the other side were pioneers. So they settled later and then went west. So there's a lot.
Sounds so bad.
No, these are stories that you wouldn't have uncovered without the help of AI, which is just kind of fascinating.
This particular story that he's talking about is one from the mid-1800s, early 1800s. So quite a few generations before me. And when that happens, everyone has a good number of grandparents, great-grandparents at that point. One of them apparently was in debt for some reason, and there's a record of him using this full-text AI of a courthouse saying, well, he's gone. You can't get a warrant for his arrest for his debts because he's not in this county anymore.
Before they had the U.S. Marshal Service that would hunt you down across state line. It wouldn't fly today. But it's definitely interesting to see what changes are happening, and that they're happening in places that you wouldn't think.
But what's interesting is that his niece is married to, I believe, the sheriff's son. So
he probably got tipped off.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll never know because they are long gone if they're early 1800s, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this was before Missouri was even a state.
Yeah. Well, we've been busy in the community as well, not just kind of working around the house and on the family, but that is very important to us, so we're always doing that. But recently, I got a chance to learn about the homelessness situation in Cobb County. I got a chance to sit in an audience where Melanie Keegan, who is the executive director for the Center for Family Resources, spoke about Cobb County's homelessness crisis, to kind of talk, and more importantly, the work being done to fight it. So interestingly enough, despite Cobb's high median income, we're over $100,000 for our median income, the county faces significant housing insecurity. But luckily, the work that they're doing is actually very beneficial, with lots of hope, collaboration, and solutions. So here's what's being done. The CFR leads the Cobb Homelessness Alliance, and that coordinates everything from emergency shelters and rapid rehousing to job assistance and food pantries. So they have immediate assistance, short-term assistance, and long-term permanent assistance. And then in addition to that, they provide training for jobs, placement for jobs, and resources for those who are in need of food. Their patient diversion program has helped keep local hospital beds free by redirecting individuals in need of housing to case management instead of the emergency room. So they're doing works there. They're offering permanent supportive housing programs, which have been one of the best success rates in the state, which helps families stay housed in the long term. And they're working with new public-private partnerships to encourage property owners to accept the voucher programs, ease the strain on low-income renters.
That's Section 8.
So, well, now called Housing Choice, but yeah, it's what everybody knows as Section 8. But there are other initiatives as well. So there are voucher programs through like the VA and other programs that will allow for housing. The issue with a lot of these is that the people that really, really need the housing, when they get to those programs, they jump to the top of the list. Mm-hmm. Who are immediate concerns, who have no family, who are, no income. They're in need of they have medical issues and they need a lot of attention. They generally jump to the top of the list. So the people who don't have the severest issues end up in a waiting list for basically ever. So Cobb County has about 1,700 people experiencing homelessness. About 80% of those who enter into the Center for Family Resources rehousing programs remain stably housed, which is a huge win. So just to repeat that, 80% of people who go to the CFR for help end up getting their permanent housing solved within a certain period. I think it's like within 1 year. So they're rehoused, they're settled, they're out of the program, they're on their own. So huge need, not just for adults, but there's also issues for kids. Marietta School District actually has probably the highest rated or the highest unhoused population of children in the county, and that's because of Must Ministries. It's located in the Marietta City School District, so when people are housed there, they're in the Marietta City School District. So when they're there, they're transferring schools, and it allows for some stability, but the need is huge. There's like 3 big programs that are serving the homeless population of Cobb County. What they need are volunteers. So they do a point and count event every January. It's a one-night census where volunteers go out with police officers to homeless encampments to actually count and find out how many homeless people we have.
A homeless census.
It is basically, they call it a point-in-time count. And they're going across the county to known areas to identify and talk to these individuals to say, what are your needs? What are your challenges? Where are you getting help? Are you seeking help? And, finding out about their living situation so that they can tailor their services to help, those who actually need it. Landlords and developers can reach out to learn how to participate in housing programs that provide financial security and ongoing support. So if you're a landlord and you're in the affordable housing space, you have some lower income properties, you can reach out to the Center for Family Resources to see how you can help get long-term tenants and have a backstop with a program behind it if anything goes wrong, or just more information, definitely reach out to them. And everybody can play a role here. So whether you're a teacher, a business owner, you're in a civic organization, or you're just a neighbor here in Cobb County, behind every statistic, we have real families that are impacted, and that progress is happening here in Cobb. We have great organizations that are not for profit that are out here doing work in our community, and it was eye-opening to learn about Cobb County, where I would think we don't have, a substantial problem, is like the second highest to Fulton in the state of Georgia. So it is a big problem. It is something that we as a community need to come together to help fight. And we've got the people doing the fight. And I was proud to get a chance to sit down and learn about that.
Well, I'd like to give a quick shout out to the Fielding Lewis Chapter, Daughters of the American Revolution. They got together on Saturday while I was at the Undokai, or the sports day.
Yeah.
I couldn't make it because we were with the children, but they got together and did Chad's Bracket. I don't know if you've ever heard of that before.
I haven't. What's Chad's Bracket?
Chad's Bracket. So Chad's Bracket is different, but it allows for children to be transported more easily in hospitals by using a red wagon that is rigged up so that you can put an IV pole or medicine, and they can wheel around the hospital with it. They assembled all these pieces, and I don't know how many they were able to make, but I did see some pictures, and they looked like they were having a lot of fun. So congratulations.
That's awesome. I'm looking this up right now.
Yes.
But they're radio flyers that are more than just a wagon. So this is a quote from a news article. A child can stand in them and they're stable. And these come already, which was requested by hospitals to make sure they had seat belts for the kids so they couldn't raise up while they were in there. They're rides for kids. I've got over 200 wagons in the garage, but number 802 is there to be assembled, Roger said. These are people who are creating this project. Each is equipped with an IV pole. Roger and his son came up with the idea while they were at a hospital. Granddaughter in 2011 was diagnosed with a brain tumor, and while visiting they saw a mother pulling her child in a wagon and an IV pole, so they made that come together. So that's very cool. What a sweet story.
Yeah.
Great work, ladies. All right. Well, while we're on community, we got some news and events going on. Before we get into some events, don't forget we've got the Cobb County Diaper Day is coming up on October 28th. So if you are interested in contributing to that, we've got a link in the show notes where you can go to the Kiwanis Club of Marietta's Amazon wish list and order diapers. They will be sent directly to our committee where they'll be gathered, and those will be donated at the garden at Cobb EMC on the 28th. So that's coming up. We'll have the link in the show notes. Events, Friday, October 24th, we have... my millennial heart is beating here. Movie nights on Marietta Square is going to be playing The Goonies.
Shuffle.
Goonies Never Say Die. It's free admission. The event starts at 8 p.m. The movie is at dark. Get there early, grab a seat, grab dinner at one of the restaurants, have some drinks at the Strand, just have a great time.
This has got to be one of my favorite Steven Spielberg.
It's such a good movie.
Oh, it's a
classic coming of age.
Yeah. It's just so great. It's got the villains. It's got the stereotypical.
You got a treasure hunt, pirates, dead pirates. I love it. It's so good.
Bones and traps and gadgets.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And then coming up on November 1st in a couple of weeks, we got the big taste of Kennesaw is around the corner.
Yes.
So that one's going to take place on November 1st, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Rain or shine, there's going to be over 30 restaurants, live music, 2 stages, lots of fun for the kids, including a rock wall, inflatables, a trackless train, and the local chefs are going to be competing for best entree, dessert, and appetizer.
Trackless train.
Trackless train. Basically, it's a tractor.
I mean, I'm a trackless human.
And then admission is free. Food is going to range from $1 to $10. So, should be a great event. Hope to see you out there.
All right. So, City Spotlight.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've talked about like one of our towns here in Cobb.
But I didn't know this about this place. It's right in our backyard, Kennesaw, Georgia. Are you kidding me? This is a Cherokee word for burial ground?
Yeah, so Kennesaw.
No way.
Yeah, so founded as Big Shanty in 1830, right? Back then, the go back to our last episode where we were talking about the Great Locomotive Chase, right?
Yeah.
We covered a little bit of this history on the show. But when the Western and Atlantic Railroad chose Marietta as its terminal, they were then building the rails. And as the rails were being built, they would come up with these shanty towns for all the workers to build in.
Sure, that makes sense.
Right?
You don't want to go, commute.
So think about it this way. The terminal is in Marietta. So the closer to Marietta, probably the bigger the camp for work. So Kennesaw is closer. Big Shanty was the name of that town. You went up a little bit further north, you got to Ackworth. That would have been Little Shanty. So that it was Marietta, Big Shanty, then Little Shanty.
And what's Allatoona and Ringgold?
Well, I don't know. In the movie, I think it was Ringgold. But it was founded in the 1830s as Big Shanty. This was a construction camp along the railroad. This is the Western Atlantic. The growth was all tied to the rail connecting Atlanta to Chattanooga.
That's why Atlanta exists.
Yeah. And so this is in the 1830s. The Great Locomotive Chase happened in 1862, right? So the railroad is built. These towns are established. In 1887, now Big Shanty is renamed to Kennesaw. And it's a Cherokee word meaning burial ground. Now, it's named after Kennesaw Mountain, and after the Civil War battle there, I can understand why they would choose that name, because it was a pretty bloody battle. Because the mountain itself was the site of the Battle of Kennesaw, which was part of Sherman's campaign towards the burning of Atlanta.
Yeah, it's north of Atlanta too, so they got there first.
Yeah.
Then they went to Atlanta.
So a little bit of background, but Kennesaw has a lot to offer. So Céline, what are some things that Kennesaw has that make it stand out as its own unique place?
Well, we do have parks and things like that, but as far as education goes, we have KSU, Kennesaw State University.
Yeah.
Which I now know is Burying Ground State University. Burial ground. Can we just call it the cemetery or something? I don't know. This university has grown like a weed.
Yeah, it really has.
Since I can remember. So KSU used to be just a community college.
Yeah.
Everyone could go there. Nobody really cared. It wasn't competitive.
I went there, and there was like 20,000 students when I went there.
I'm talking about before you.
Yeah. Well, even when I went there, it was still a heavy commuter college.
Well, I'm talking about the 90s.
Yes.
Where the reputation was, it's just a campus up there.
Yeah, small college.
I don't want to say, like the online universities, but it was a community college.
It was more like a Chat Tech. It was smaller.
Yeah, Chat Tech does really good. I think it was more of like a Southern Poly, which
yes.
no longer exists anymore.
Because now it's Kennesaw State.
But it didn't have the greatest reputation. Now, it has grown. It is the third largest university, 47,000 students. And I understand why this grew so quickly. We do have the downtown Atlanta, Georgia State, all these other universities that are there, Georgia Tech. Then you have Athens with the University of Georgia. And yes, they have campuses elsewhere, like Atlanta, depends on where you are.
Buckhead, Tifton.
Yeah, but it depends on what field you're in as far as, a campus for you. Mm-hmm. Or it may be auxiliary services. KSU, being where it is, in the middle of this giant population that might not want to go and get separate housing for university education, or because it is costly, right? You have to have room and board, or you can stay with people in this area. So it has gotten better every single year to where I've heard nothing but praise for Kennesaw State, which congratulations, because your reputation, and granted this is almost, 50 years reputation, right? And this is long past. But you came from a little blip on the map to what you are now in attracting talent and lectures, and really to what you are now. I think is commendable.
Oh, yeah.
Every time I go by that campus, there's something new, something that has been built, or a new sign, a new out place. We went mountain biking, and then we looked to the side, and then there was a KSU outpost or something like that. I never used to see anything like that, but now I'm noticing them.
Yeah.
But there are other things as well, other than this great university.
Kennesaw has a ton to offer.
We have Swift Cantrell Park as well. That is 42 acres of family fun, walking trails, and splash pads.
Yep.
If you haven't been to Swift Cantrell, it is a great place to visit. It's a public park, so no fees or anything. Just have some fun. You want to talk about Smith Gilbert Gardens?
Yeah, so modern Kennesaw has a lot of things to do.
Modern it's not
like the historical roots, right? Kind of away from the history and the locomotive chase.
But you can park.
We've got the Smith Gilbert Gardens, which are 17 acres of botanical gardens, over 4,000 plant species, and it has one of the Southeast's best bonsai collections. Then we've got the Southern Museum of Civil War and Locomotive History, so back to the old Kennesaw. That's there. We've talked about this at length in prior episodes, because this museum is a Smithsonian affiliate. So when James was much younger, we had the annual pass, because it would get us in, not just here, which we went all the time because we lived over there, but to all the Smithsonian museums. So we were able to get in with one pass for a whole year. So that's where you can go to see the general. If you're going to be in downtown Kennesaw for the Kennesaw Food Festival, then you might as well check out the museum if they're open.
Here's a new one that I have not visited yet, so I'm very new to this one because it opened in 2024. It's the Depot Park Amphitheater.
I didn't know about this either.
I had no clue, and I live right next to Kennesaw in Marietta.
To be fair, it's been a little bit since we've spent a lot of time in downtown Kennesaw.
But the rate that Kennesaw is growing, though, is incredible. And it hosts concerts and festivals in downtown Kennesaw. This goes back to what we've been talking about, these individual cities and towns creating their own identity, because it's become so difficult to drive anywhere in Metro Atlanta, and you're pretty much using an entire day just to get somewhere for a few hours. You'd rather convert that travel time and go to your local downtown area and have some fun, and then you can have more time to go back home and relax.
I certainly would. Kennesaw also does a really, really large festival once a year. Now, they do a bunch of festivals. Like there's beer festivals, there's barbecue festivals, but the biggest one is the Big Shanty Festival. Now, we've been to this. We've participated in this as a company before, and this takes place every April. Over 60,000 people go to downtown Kennesaw for this festival. They bring out hundreds of vendors. Every civic group, every business, every restaurant, it seems, has a presence at this festival, because they bring out the trucks, the music, the beer. It's like everything goes, from food to music to
pretzel necklaces.
Yeah, they had Touch a Truck go, and the museum was doing stuff. It's just a great place just a fun festival. It's a lot of fun. It's huge, and lots of vendors, people, artists, and businesses out in the community.
It is crowded.
It can get really crowded. If you're doing the Big Shanty Festival, I would recommend you get there before 10. Because 10 o'clock seems to be like the point where all the kids start to arrive and all the families show up. So if you can get there just before...
Well, it gets hot, too.
Yeah. Get your parking early and have fun.
Yeah, we're in the time where it's cold in the mornings, and then by lunchtime it's hot.
Yeah.
Every year.
So Kennesaw is a pretty unique place. Not only does it have like the third largest university in the state, but we've got a lot of employers, right? The whole Chastain Road area is heavy on commercial office space, so we've got a lot of headquarters there. It's right down the street from the Cobb International Airport.
Well, the zoning there is very heavy in commercial versus...
Commercial and some industrial in the area, yeah.
Yes. It's far less residential, although you do have residential. They have a larger commercial zoning area than other places. So that really lends to the headquarters that you're talking about.
Exactly. And it gives employers a talent pool, right, with the university right there. You've got a lot of shopping centers, automotive, so there's lots of employment in that area. It's convenient for travel because it's got easy access to both 575 and 75, so people like to live around that area because it's easy for them to travel and to get in and out on the weekends. It's got a very small town feel. So Kennesaw has a pretty quirky law on the books that's been on the books in Kennesaw since 1982.
These are the laws that end up in the toilet books.
You you can't, like it's illegal to own a pet alligator in a bathtub in Florida. It's that kind of law.
Yeah.
It's a symbolic law, part of the Kennesaw legend, which is the firearm ordinance, which requires every household in the city to own a firearm.
No, not everyone does.
It's a symbolic law.
But the residents really like to claim this. They're like, oh, well, we have to because it's the law. It's just a fun thing to say.
Well, it's a fun thing to say, but there's a lot of people who will correlate this law with a very low crime rate in the city. And there have been articles that have come out from other parts of the country where like local publications will be like, this is the law. And by the way, their crime is pretty low. I don't know what the statistics are like now for crime in Kennesaw, but I can't imagine.
I don't know. I mean, it's a very mixed area with residential and commercial, and good job. Yeah.
So, I mean, there's genuine community spirit here, and not without its own little controversy. I mean, you've got parks, history, and progress all kind of colliding, and a developing downtown next to, I don't even know if it's still around anymore. Do you know if Wildman's is still there?
No.
Is it gone?
I believe he's gone.
I got to Google this.
He died. He passed away. He is also another holdover legend. He's for a different time, though.
Yep.
Local legend.
So there is I don't think it's closed yet.
What?
It is still open. So there is... All right.
Who knew?
So we can't talk about Kennesaw without talking about Wildman's. So Wildman's Civil War surplus... Okay, it's a pretty controversial store. It reopened in 2022, and it sells Confederate memorabilia. So it has artifacts from the Civil War, but then it also has a lot of Confederate stuff and Ku Klux Klan merchandise, which a lot of residents view as hate speech. And the store's reopening led to a lot of public debate and a city council member resigning in protest.
What?
So the owner of the store characterizes the items as historical relics, while opponents argue they promote bigotry and racism. So
I guess that's like an opinion on art.
Yeah, and it definitely stands out. I mean, if you're in downtown Kennesaw, it's been a couple of years since I've been down there, but you can clearly look at the outside windows and see Confederate flags hanging.
But didn't he pass away?
I don't know. I'm trying to get some more information on this right now. So there's about a year ago, there was a Reddit post to support the fight to close Wildman. So there were community organizers trying to raise money to support litigation to close the shop. Here it is. For years, the community had hoped that upon Dentmeyer's passing, the store on Main Street, with its many code violations and blight, would cease operations. They envisioned the historical items moving to a museum, paving the way for a new development.
Yeah.
These hopes were dashed 2 years ago on Juneteenth when Miss Lyon, a mere store employee, obtained a business license in her name only without authorization from the Dentmeyer's estate. Since then, she has exploited the legal system and misused trust funds to block Miss Bagwell, a rightful beneficiary of the estate and Dentmeyer's sister. Now, I'm just reading an article on Reddit or a post on Reddit. I don't know if any of these accusations...
Sure, you're just reading banter.
I am quoting this. I'll even include the link in the show notes.
Here's my take on Wildman.
But this is insane, y'all. Woo!
Wildman was a character, right? Dentmeyer's. And I think that we forget that we also have surplus stores still in existence for current.
Well, there's a difference between Army surplus.
There's a difference.
Yeah.
But, it's a controversial war as well. People have really strong feelings about that. My point of view growing up as a kid here, we all knew about Dentmeyer's and Wildman, but the consensus was that he's the crazy old guy down the street that has that weird store. So that was kind of who he was back then, and how he was viewed. I stay out of all of this because it is so emotional for a lot of people and so controversial. But just remembering my childhood, I remember him being that guy in Kennesaw.
Yeah. So there's no update on this, but one of the comments mentioned that an attorney was fully funded. There's a battle, I guess, going with the estate on that.
Huh. Kind of like Elvis Presley's estate.
We're going to have to learn some more about it, but this is all a part of what makes Kennesaw unique. It's got controversy, and it's got community, and it's got history, and it's got progress, and all of these things. Plus, it's got some great communities, some great neighborhoods. You've got the super popular Legacy Park, which is a subdivision of subdivisions with tons of different architecture, but it's a huge park that it's all a part of.
You've got the quirky like Wildman.
You've got the quirky like Wildman's. You've got a wonderful business community. We've had the chance to attend Kennesaw Business Association meetings in the past. You've got parks, rec, easy access to travel. There's a greenway system with rentable bikes.
Yeah.
Shopping is right there.
The one thing we don't know is going to happen is Town Center Mall.
Town Center Mall is the big question, but I think that's right
in the middle of Kennesaw.
What I do know about that is there's a lot of eyes on it, and there's a lot of money on it, and they're trying to figure out what can be done with that area. It's not going to stay blighted for long. I can imagine that this is going to be a massive undertaking.
I could have never thought
it'll
that
definitely reshape the area.
The fate of a
malls,
mall. When we were younger, we thought that these were behemoths and that they would stay forever, and that
why would anybody ever not want to go to the mall to shop?
Right. And we hadn't lived enough to see the changes that happen with technology and with changing habits, and curveballs like COVID happen. So we couldn't even imagine not having malls, because that was our city center.
It was our date night. It was our after-school afternoon. It was our
old people's track.
It was our, essential. Where you go for the essentials. You want a new outfit, you go there. You want to grab.
Anything.
You want to do your Christmas shopping, you go to the mall.
You want a dog?
You want a dog? You go to the mall.
I would never buy from there.
No, God. But we always went in and pet the dogs.
I just looked at them to make sure that they were okay.
You want a pretzel? Go to the mall.
Auntie
Annie's. I was every time I was there. Auntie Annie's pretzels. I loved Cinnabons.
Yeah.
I just couldn't.
Mall smells are Cinnabon and pretzels.
Yes.
With cheese.
Absolutely.
The yellow.
And then the free samples in the food court. Oh, as a high schooler, I'd go around and get all the free samples.
Did you really?
Oh, totally. Absolutely.
Like Costco sampler.
I was a kid and I was broke. I'd have a car that would get me there. But if I didn't have anybody pitching in with gas money, I'm not spending all my cash. It's a good thing I didn't. I had to save up for an engagement ring a couple of years after that.
I'm sorry.
I proposed to you when I was 17.
You were 19.
No, that's right. I was 19. I don't know anything anymore. It all melds together. So Kennesaw, great place to be. From food to shopping to parks and rec, travel, and the interesting and unique history that make Kennesaw a wonderful place for our county to go and recreate.
Recreate.
Yeah, all those fun things. I love Kennesaw. I had some great. Recreate's not a new word. It's a real word.
Context.
It is a real word.
I know it works. It works.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's lots of memories there from going to college at Kennesaw State and running through the campus at night and pledging and doing all the fun stuff that we did back in the day. But it has changed. Kennesaw State, it's more than double the size it was 20 years ago when I was a freshman.
The student offerings there are incredible.
They really are. So just in conclusion, y'all, if you haven't already, please make sure you're liking, you're subscribing. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and ring the bell so that you never miss when a new episode drops. Leave us a review on Apple or Spotify or your favorite podcast app, and share this with everybody so that the community gets this information. Coming up, make sure you support Cobb Diaper Day. The link's in the show notes. You can go to the Amazon wish list for the Marietta Club of Kiwanis and order diapers. It'll come straight to us. We'll donate them on your behalf. You can volunteer for Cobb's Point in Time Count with the Center for Family Resources. Check out the Square Screenings or Taste of Kennesaw coming up for the Goonies and some awesome outings. And then, next time you're driving through Kennesaw, just pay attention to what's going on around there. There's some great stuff to explore. Go see the General. Go to a festival. Eat some barbecue. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Have a great day, everybody.